In the world of crowns and ceremonies, where every gesture is calculated down to the millimeter, do undercurrents exist that the media cameras have never reached? Recently, royal observers have been buzzing about a dramatic theory. A silent but profound rift is brewing at the heart of power. Some suggest that behind the diplomatic smiles lies a direct confrontation between future heritage and existing reality. Let's look at the facts. Prince William, from the moment of his birth at St. Mary's, has carried on his shoulders a destiny that is not his own. After the shocking event of September 2022, when Queen Elizabeth II passed away, William was not just a son, he became the pillar of stability. In a context where the monarchy faces uncertainties from departing members, William represents preservation. Therefore, every action of his is highly symbolic. This is where the currents of information begin to intersect. Unverified sources suggest a clash of minds has occurred concerning the positions of those close to Queen Camilla in important events. Is there a scenario of rejection? Some question if a request for increased participation of non-direct relatives is denied, what will happen. A difficult situation is being assumed for King Charles III, caught between two opposing forces, personal sentiment, and the established rules of the institution. Undeniably, Queen Camilla's journey in the public eye has been a challenging one. Despite her tireless efforts in social activities, the shadow of history has always been an invisible barrier. The contrast between a guardian of tradition, William, and someone striving to redefine values. Camilla has created a space filled with speculation about a potential rift. H. In a fictional scenario based on existing events, we see a picture of sacrifice power and harsh choices. Is the palace's silence a testament to peace, or merely the calm before a storm of restructuring? The truth always has many layers, and what we analyze today may only be the tip of the iceberg. What do you think about the mysterious interaction between William and Camilla? Will tradition or change prevail in this subtle battle of wits? Share your perspective below. In the mind of the future king, there are memories that will never fade. It is often said that every step Prince William takes carries the shadow of an endless source of inspiration, Princess Diana. The scar from 1997 is not just a personal pain, but seems to have become a compass shaping his unwavering values. Behind the polite handshakes and formal ceremonies, is there a silent struggle between remaining loyal to the past and accepting a new reality? A new era has begun, but behind the glamour lies a different story. Frequency conflict, full of mystery. Is Queen Camilla's rise going against the blueprint for the future of the next king? The event at Windsor, originally set up to showcase unity, suddenly became the stage for a political battle. Power struggle. Subtle. The focus of attention is the suggestive absence of figures outside the direct bloodline. A scenario is being whispered among observers. Could William have drawn a red line, rejecting any interference from elements outside the ancient rituals in the mainstream of power? J. Here we see not just the story of a guest, but a direct confrontation between unchanging heritage and modern adaptation. William seems to be playing a game where each card carries the weight of both duty and sorrow over his deceased mother. This is an investigation based on fragments of public opinion. Was that unwavering resolve a shield protecting the dynasty, or an echo of an unhealed wound? At Windsor Palace, the guest list is not just a list of names, but a whole new world. Declaration of power. A clash of ideologies erupted. On one side was Queen Camilla's yearning for family harmony, and on the other was her unwavering commitment to protecting the family. Dynastic precedent, Prince William's view. In the eyes of the heir apparent, every loosening of the rules is a step forward. Cracks in the foundation. Monarchy. Tom Parker Bowles, despite his talent, was still considered a monarch. External variable. The climax of this scenario is the hypothesis of a strict security order at the castle gates turning a logistical incident into a major one. Non-verbal message, a cold message to Camilla. That between royal blood and personal relationships there will always be invisible boundaries that cannot be crossed. Behind the calm demeanor in front of the camera, is there a direct confrontation between ancient ritual and modern aspirations? Why was William so resolute? Observant people believe this action stemmed not from malice, but from a commitment to protection, Cambridge heritage. Allowing figures associated with the most controversial period of royal history to delve too deeply into national ceremonies could be seen as a denial of the past. In William's mind, protecting the line between duty and personal relationships was perhaps his way of keeping his promise to his late mother. K. We are witnessing a battle of wits between succession and change. William has sent a clear statement: the monarchy must maintain a sacred distance from personal variables, regardless of the cost to relationships. The events at Windsor are perhaps just one chapter in the palace's secret diary. Is this necessary rigidity to protect the throne or a barrier to understanding among its members? Beyond the events at the castle gates, this incident exposed a more stark reality: the unhealable cracks in the power structure of the monarchy. It wasn't just a dispute over the guest list, but a battle to shape the future of a monarchy at a crossroads. On one side were those defending rigid traditional values, on the other, those seeking validation for their own individualistic fragments. Will the past ever truly rest in peace? Or will it forever haunt those who hold the crown? Imagine a lavish evening at Windsor, where music and lights masked underlying tensions. Some theories suggest that behind her calm exterior, Queen Camilla faced a profound psychological shock. The exclusion of a close confidant from the official circle was more than just a matter of protocol. Analysts believe it sent a chilling message about boundaries. For someone who had spent decades building their status, this was perhaps a stark reminder that no matter how prestigious the title, invisible barriers always exist. Why did Camilla choose silence instead of resistance? This is the point that analysts find most intriguing. Instead of a direct confrontation, one sees a resilience in silence. One theory is that she was fully aware of the fragile balance within the royal family. An explosive reaction could be poison to the unity she had painstakingly cultivated. This incident reveals a complex reality: the line between a modern family and an ancient institution is sometimes not as clear as one might expect. L. From Prince William's perspective, this action was seen as an affirmation of the monarchy's future identity, not out of malice, but as an unwavering commitment to the honor and purity of the monarchy. William perhaps believed that to protect the crown, one sometimes had to accept a coldness in personal relationships. We have explored the hidden corners of a dramatic hypothetical case. Queen Camilla's silence and Prince William's steadfastness paint a picture of a monarchy navigating the pains of the past and the expectations of the future. Is sacrificing personal feelings the necessary price to pay to keep the crown shining, or will these cracks only grow larger over time? The truth probably still lies deep within the stone walls of Windsor. If you support William's steadfastness and see it as the act of a great protector of heritage, leave a 2. Conversely, if you feel this coldness is unnecessary and are skeptical about a divided future, leave a 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel right now. That's how you won't miss the latest developments in the journey to unravel the mysteries surrounding Windsor Palace. On May 6, 2023, the world turned its attention to Westminster Abbey to witness a symbolic ceremony of power and justice. The scepter striking the ancient stone floor was a declaration of the continuation of a dynasty. Yet hidden behind the splendor of silks and jewels, discerning observers noticed a silent electrical current running through the church. There are moments that need no words to convey messages more powerfully than any speech. Do you believe that silence is sometimes a declaration? Join us as we decipher the moment of no turning back at this historic coronation. As King Charles and Queen Camilla walked down the aisle between rows of majestic seats, a strange phenomenon caught the attention of analysts. While the new king received absolute reverence, an unmistakable silence prevailed as the new queen passed by. Why did no one turn their heads? Why did the usual respect seem to have stalled? Observers hypothesized a growing discontent, a silent protest by those who believe traditional values are being challenged by personal choices. The source of this lukewarm reception is believed to lie in the names on paper. Some sources suggest that Queen Camilla's prioritization of 20 close friends and family, including Tom Parker Bowles, while overlooking key allies who had helped her weather previous media storms, caused a shock within the aristocracy. The absence of these former loyalists was not merely a logistical issue. It was seen as a strategic shift in loyalty, prompting even the most ardent supporters to question it. The tension was not only present within the congregation, but was also evident on the faces of the successors. Princess Catherine's gaze, known for her elegance and composure, Catherine was said to have subtly conveyed a message that day by moderating the usual formalities of respect. Even in complex relationships like Prince Harry's, there was a perceived general dissatisfaction with decisions seen as prioritizing individualism over institutional authority. In the royal world, every action has repercussions. Prince William's decision to exclude Tom Parker Bowles from the Windsor Charity Gala was no coincidence. Analysts consider this a deliberate move. Decree on loyalty William seems to have made a clear statement. Past problems are not easily erased by new titles, and loyalty to the institution cannot be taken lightly. In the digital age, no secret can remain hidden behind the thick oak doors of a palace. When names are crossed off the guest list, it's no longer a private family matter. It becomes a spark for the massive media machine. The British media, masters at deciphering symbols, quickly transformed an individual's absence into a declaration of rifts. Is this a steadfast defense of royal dignity, or evidence of the invisible barriers that still surround a modern family? If you observe online forums, you will see a clear polarization, a confrontation between two ideologies, those who praise the iron principles of the future king. They see it as a reaffirmation of the traditional order, where blood ties and national duty must always take precedence over personal feelings. Those who see the pain of a family struggling to integrate perceive it as a silent but bitter rejection of years of efforts to unite. The debate isn't just about one individual. It's touching on the very essence of the question, should the monarchy be an immutable symbol or a flexible entity that adapts to the times? Right moment to fuel theories began to paint a darker picture. This event was not an isolated incident. It was seen as a small slice, revealed from a deeper struggle unfolding within the Windsor family. Unresolved feuds and accumulated grievances from the past were gradually being pieced together by journalists, shattering the illusion of absolute unity that the palace had long strived to build. At the center of this storm was King Charles III. Analysts hypothesize that the king is facing his greatest diplomatic challenge right in his own home. He cannot afford to show favoritism. Both Queen Camilla and Prince William are key players in his game of governance. A public rift would not only hurt family feelings, but could also overshadow the legacy he is striving to establish. This event was not an accidental mistake. It was a decision weighed heavily on our conscience. It exposed subtle but undeniable cracks in the structure of a long-standing monarchy. In the office, the king's tranquility where personal matters always had to take a back seat. Faced with the nation's destiny, a solution is being sought. Can diplomatic skill heal the wounds of wounded pride? In the world of powerful clans where every wall holds a secret, it is often said, the strength of a dynasty lies not in its scepter, but in the unity of its hearts. Recently, a theory about a secret meeting at the center of power has opened a new lens through which a king governs not just a nation, but his own family. If you believe that personal sacrifice is the inevitable price to pay for protecting a millennia-old heritage, then join us as we delve into the final chapter of this mysterious case. This is a hypothetical scenario based on psychological variables and subtle diplomatic signals. King Charles III, as depicted in this document, is not merely a monarch but an architect of harmony. Observers hypothesize that he understood William's unwavering commitment to ancient rituals, but also sensed his partner's silent pain. A pivotal dialogue is believed to have taken place in the quiet confines of the palace. Instead of dry commands, there were messages about a vision for the century, a reassurance for the queen, a reminder of the future for the heir. Charles painted a larger picture where each individual is an inseparable piece of an institution under the scrutiny of the world. Realizing that the undercurrents could not subside on their own, the king was given. He had taken a decisive step, a private meeting, where all diplomatic masks were removed. Unity was the only shield. Charles reminded his loved ones that any deviation in this symphony could become a vulnerability for storms of public opinion. The meeting ended in the solemn silence of ceremony, but it left behind an unwavering expectation. Unity comes first. Following the events at Windsor, the public witnessed a display of harmony, radiant smiles, skillfully orchestrated friendly gestures. However, from the perspective of theoretical analysts, this may only be a temporary truce. Behind this polite facade, have the rifts between heritage guardians and integration seekers truly disappeared? Or are they merely lurking deeper beneath the surface, the geological strata of royal life? This chapter of Windsor Castle concludes with an atmosphere of quietude but profound weight. King Charles has strived to bridge the gap between the past and the future, between family ties and duty. However, the real mystery lies in what happens after the camera lights go out. Will this unity be a solid wall or merely a thin curtain concealing never-ending storms? What are your thoughts on King Charles's art of reconciliation? Will Camilla's silence and William's steadfastness lead to an era of stability or another explosion in the future? Please leave your opinions and let's discuss. Behind the tranquil facade of millennia-old stone walls, a silent war is simmering. It's not simply a disagreement between two individuals, but a fierce clash of two ideologies attempting to redefine the future of an empire. If you believe that every royal choice is a move in the game of history, join us as we step into the heart of the storm. Can the crown be redefined, or will it be forever? Do they belong to immutable laws? Prince William, from the perspective of theoretical analysts, appears as a guardian of old values. For him, the monarchy was not a stage to adapt to, but a sanctuary to preserve. The memory of Princess Diana was not just pain, but a filter through which William assessed the legitimacy of those entering the circle of power. There are theories that even though Camilla already possessed the crown in the eyes of the successor, true acceptance remained an unsolved variable. Consider the case of Tom Parker Bowles. In our world, he's an unnamed guest, but in the language of the palace, he is the message of boundaries. This exclusion was seen as an act of establishing a symbolic quarantine circle. William seemed to be sending a chilling signal that while power may change hands, the core bloodline and rituals would never be diluted by outsiders. Despite appearing together in front of the cameras with polite smiles, their motivations were believed to be on two different planets, a persistent decades-long quest for recognition. The theory is that she wanted to leave a legacy comparable to that of Queen Elizabeth II, a testament to perseverance and personal value in the annals of history, a commitment to protecting the purity of tradition despite personal emotional sacrifices. At Windsor, the world witnessed a perfect display of unity. Nods and polite greetings satisfied the public. However, in the narrow corridors where longtime members whispered there was talk of the ceasefire agreement is fragile. King Charles III temporarily calmed the waves, but the architects of the future William and Camilla still stood on opposite sides of the battlefield of their visions. In the world of power, rejection is sometimes not expressed in words, but in contracts that are no longer renewed. There's a truth that observers often whisper: Tom Parker Bowles is not the only one in Queen Camilla's family facing an invisible wall from the future monarch. When the spotlight fades from charity events, it shines on another hidden corner called Annabelle Elliott. Why did a professional relationship spanning nearly 2 decades suddenly come to an end at the very moment of the power transition? Let's piece together the variables in this subtle purge. Let's go back in time to 2005. Annabelle Elliott, a talented interior designer and sister of Queen Camilla, was entrusted by King Charles, then Prince of Wales, with the important task of breathing life into the properties of the Duchy of Cornwall. For many years, a significant amount of financial resources were invested in exchange for her exquisite designs. After nearly 20 years as the design soul behind King Charles's real estate properties, Annabelle Elliott, Queen Camilla's sister, has officially had her contract terminated by Prince William as he takes over the Duchy of Cornwall. Although described as a professional transition, analysts view the move as a decree of independence. Cutting economic ties with Camilla's closest relative is seen as a clear act of boundary setting, dismantling the family privileges that existed under the previous era. William emerges as a minimalist architect, moving against his father's family-centric style of management. He is focusing on pruning dependent offshoots to concentrate vitality in the main trunk of the monarchy. The move toward publicly transparent finances suggests that William is preparing for a future in which the royal family must prove its value through governance performance, rather than relying on personal relationships or traditional mystique. Is this an effort to optimize the institution or a strategic move to curtail the influence of Camilla's family? The outward image of unity appears to be masking a decisive internal restructuring. The annual report to be released at the end of July 2025, according to the assumed timeline, created a slight psychological shock within the palace. A familiar name was absent after nearly 2 decades, Annabel Elliot. The removal of Queen Camilla's sister from the list of financial support recipients is not simply a personnel decision. Analysts view it as a modernization decree. While the reason given is the completion of a professional process, one cannot ignore the decisiveness in William's setting of boundaries. In Queen Camilla's mind, this decision was considered a deep cut. For a mother and a sister, seeing her dearest loved ones excluded from the workings of the monarchy was a grim testament to changing times. While King Charles III built stability on tolerance and connection, William seemed to be building it on streamlining and discipline. This difference was creating an atmosphere that the media called fragile tension. The purge in the Duchy of Cornwall closed an old chapter of royal history and opened a new one full of variables. William made his choice. Transparency and efficiency would be the shield of the crown. But what was the price of this modernization? Could the rifts within the family be filled by financial growth figures? In the world of millennia-old institutions, change often doesn't come with loud pronouncements, but rather from quiet moments in financial reports. Recently, a major question has been raised in the Duchy of Cornwall. Why did a steadfast presence of 20 years suddenly vanish the moment a new head of government took office? Unverified sources suggest that behind the numbers lies a whole world of thoughts and strategies, redefining the existence of the monarchy. This is a hypothetical scenario based on governance variables and the deep-seated sentiments behind the palace curtains. Consider Annabel Elliot's career in Cornwall. At 75, she is more than just a designer. She has touched the soul of royal properties from Wales to Scilly. Removing a name that generated hundreds of thousands of pounds in value from the list of collaborators isn't about quality, but rather about frequency. Why would a figure considered essential and trustworthy have to step down? Was the future king trying to prove that in his era, professionalism must be completely detached from family ties? There was talk of tears and an unfillable aesthetic void. For Queen Camilla, this was perhaps more than just a financial decision. As her dearest loved ones gradually left the palace's inner circle, a feeling of being on the sidelines was likely growing. On one side is William's effort to modernize and increase transparency in capital flows. On the other is the anguish of a woman who sees her family gradually becoming invisible within the new power structure. William is playing a game of cards openly. His disclosure of income variables that were previously his father's code sends a chilling message. The era of mystery has ended, giving way to the era of standards. Although the reason may not directly refer to the past, one cannot help but notice a repetition. From Tom to Annabelle, a red line is being drawn cruelly but consistently. This is for informational purposes only based on unverified hypotheses and rumors/public opinions. Let's discuss this issue from an objective analytical perspective. The truth always lies on the boundary between what we see and what we feel. Don't just sit and observe. Be a part of this investigation. Do you find these details extremely logical and curious about the next move? Leave a comment. Key 1. Or will you still maintain a cool, skeptical attitude towards these variables? Press key 0. Don't forget to press like and subscribe right now. This is your ticket to join me in venturing deeper into the hidden corners, lifting the velvet curtains that conceal the truth behind them. Yes.